Standardization is so crucial. When we start to think about what is one of the biggest reasons why cloud deployments fail, it's because the organization didn't spend the time to standardize and templatize a lot of the processes. So at the end of the day, it comes down to a very simple concept. You know, if we look at the building industry, you have two options when you go to build a new home. You can build a custom home or you can buy a spec home. So what's the difference between the two? The custom-built home, you get exactly what you want, literally down to what types of screws you use, what types of hardware are in the house, all the different things. If you want 5 windows on one wall, go for it. Go nuts. That's the benefit of a custom-built house. It's very customizable. It also takes a lot longer to build. Why? Because again, it's not something where you can just quote-unquote buy it off the shelf. And typically, it's going to cost more money. Then if we look at a spec home, there's a limited set of floor plans. In other words, you've got some very standardized way in which the builder builds. There's limited customization. You might be able to change the color, you can modify the carpet, you can put in tile, whatever it is that you want to do, it's within a certain framework and you've got boundaries. You have the ability to be able to also, in many cases, build it much faster. Why? Because the builder's already ready to go. They've got a lot of the different processes in place, and they've got the ability to be able to get the house up to a certain point to be able to bring in some of those that customization that you're asking for. And ultimately, it's a lot less expensive to build because these, again, are a scenario where if I can do, you know, when you do the first one, it's fairly expensive. You're learning a lot. When you get to the 10th or the 100th, you've got it down to a science. You know how to build that, and you can maximize the capabilities of it, and you can really reduce the costs associated with it. So when we take that analogy and we put it to cloud, the benefits of having that standard cloud offering is huge. It allows you to be able to have a much faster time to deployment. You've also got the ability to be able to reduce the cost of deployment. So in addition to being able to move faster, you have the ability to be able to reduce the cost of the actual offering back to the business. And it's much easier to automate. You know, when we talked before, if everything was a one-off, automation just simply doesn't work. But if you've got things that are repetitive or things that you do on a consistent basis, you can automate the heck out of those type of environments. It's also much less complex to manage. And when we think about where organizations often have the most challenge, it's in really dealing with complexity. How do I troubleshoot something if I don't even understand how it's laid together? Most networks are built in a way where they kind of were, they're homegrown over time. So in a lot of cases, you've got things in there that you weren't part of actually building, but you've got to still support. By being able to provide standards and being able to be ruthless in the, making sure those standards are followed, you can reduce complexity and make it much easier to be able to manage and really support your organization.